What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How is everyone doing today? Doing well myself. I hope all the fathers out there had a good Father's Day. I had a good one myself. We ended up just hanging out without the kids and just enjoying a day together. Which once in a while you got to do because it's exhausting. It's very important that at least once a month you go and try and spend some times without the kids. At least try to do that. Um, there we go. All right. Um, yeah, it's important. Whether or at least maybe not once a month, but at least trying as frequently as possible to spend some time together without the kids. Um, just get a break and recharge. Man, fuck, I'm tired as hell. Ugh. I like super tired, but I'm tired as yeah, Tina calendar page. I don't know what you mean by visible, please. But this was 6 minutes ago before I started. So, anyways, oh, for all the fathers out there, you guys had a good Father's Day. Shit, my knees. So, I got a few things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about SNEAKO. He got punched during America First rally or whatever. We're going to take a look at some of the videos. But yeah. So, I mean, just gonna go and take a look. See, I like, I've never given much. I don't have much love for SNEAKO, but that's not because I don't like him as a person. It's just like gets off that holier than thou crap when he's on Fresh and Fit. Sometimes I think he's toned that back a bit, which is nice. Not that I disagree with what he says. It's just the that persona of holier than thou crap is annoying as fucking hell. To me personally. After that, we're gonna hop on the whatever stream from last night, this morning, and with some of the dumbest women that whatever may have ever had, as to discuss who is the primary victim of war, and apparently emotionalness is is having emotional suffering is just as valid than dying. Hold on. According to these women, which it's just fucking ridiculous, but whatever. What can you do? So we're gonna look that over. I got some stats and whatnot. So we'll take a look at all that and see. We'll just go through it all. Okay, that's weird. But yeah. So anyways. So yeah, we're gonna talk about whatever. We're gonna go through some stats I pulled up as they were talking about from yesterday. And yeah, and maybe we'll jump a little further towards the end, where Andrew, who the only reason I watch whatever is because is when Andrew Wilson is on. And yeah, it's the only reason I really watch it. But also, so later in on the episode, you had one of the Christian chicks that was on there going in and tone policing Andrew, and we'll look at that back and forth maybe. After that, let's see what I got. The House has just drafted a new bill, or just passed a new bill that is automatically registering men for the draft. We're gonna look that over. Yeah, I can hear my opinions on it. I mean, what could that mean? Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, the head of the chairwoman of the RNC has discussed her plans for election night to do their best to prevent another questionable election. So we'll check that out, see what her plans are. I think they're fairly good plans. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, so that's all I got. A little housekeeping before we get started. Follow me on X at official WGhost. That's the best way to find out when I go live and what I am up to. You can also watch me live if you're on X as well. I know it's amazing, isn't it? Because I stream on X as well. You know, best to chat me here on Rumble, which if you follow me on Rumble, it's rumble.com/withghost. That is your chance to see me with on Rumble. That's the best way to chat me. YouTube.com/@withghost is the YouTube, and then twitch.tv/official with Ghost is Twitch. God damn it. And then of course there is the gaming channel. Okay, the game channel for Rumble is Gaming with Ghost, and for YouTube is @official Gaming with Ghost. So those are your options when you're watching me on Rumble or for gaming. I haven't been gaming lately. Gonna try and maybe start that back up, but who knows? And yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping we got. Yeah, so I can't really think of anything else. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ooh, that was close. All right. Oh man, my fucking knees. Oh, tomorrow, okay, I will be doing a Ricada stream. There was a legal mindset video on the Ricada stream that I missed. It was from 8 days ago. So we're gonna go over that and look that over. So just expect that for tomorrow. I hear the body cam footage is coming out at any time now. So when that happens, we'll do a review. I would like to try and get it myself and just review it without anyone else talking about it. So that's the plan. So we'll see if we'll be able to execute said plan. Also, we are just waiting to hear because at some point this month we should be hearing the Supreme Court's decision on Trump's immunity. So yeah, so we'll give it a check and see, whenever that drops, we'll definitely cover it. So yeah, all right. So let's get to it. All right. So this is from a video from Jacosta. I think he was there or his friends with SNEAKO. I don't know. I was listening to an X space with him yesterday as well. And yeah, so let's check this out. Now, I just want to say this as someone who's done security. It's never a good look when you're being emotional and escalating situations by yelling at the group you're supposed to be either protecting the venue from, or protecting of. It's never a good idea. Regardless if you agree with their politics or not. Okay, what are you? This guy, anyone else get the feeling that this guy's maybe gay? It was a weird insult for a grown man to call other men sluts. That's kind of weird. Also, again, I don't think they're in an actual private venue. So them recording him, you just got to deal with it. I mean, I've had my face, taken pictures of. I've been recorded and everything. So I don't understand this. Get the camera out of my face. Yes, is it annoying? Absolutely. It's really really annoying to have your camera shoved down your face. It's very annoying. Yes. But there's nothing you can do about it. And if you show that it bothers you, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to just keep fucking doing it. What are you? What are you? What are you? Fuck you! 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 Now that was SNEAKO who hit the man's hat, and he responded in a very, very aggressive manner for nothing that seemed like for a hat flip. All right, it wasn't an attack. All right, the guy didn't it didn't like harm him. There was no actual threat of violence after a hat flip. And this guy responded with disproportionate force, which if you ever done any security training, you know that you get, at least when I did it, you get a chart. You get kind of a similar training to police, where you get a chart of use of force, and you get told the appropriate use of force. And a hat flip isn't appropriate for a Superman punch. That's what this guy did. So let's get a look for him. Boom. Hat flip. Okay. Now there's no follow up. There's just the hat flip. He gets his hat flipped off his head. Okay. There's no follow up. There's no show of actual imminent danger after. Like it's not like it isn't like SNEAKO gave him the hat flip and then went like this or nothing like that. There's no show of actual threat of danger. Okay. There's none of that. So what happens next is actually entirely inappropriate when you look at the use of force chart. Let me see. Now, use of force charts generally for what it says. Let's see if I can. There we go. So let's see. Just show you what I'm talking about here. Use of force continuum. It's professional, compliant, cooperative, control, tactical, resistance, passive, contact, control, threshold, resistance, active, compliance, harmful, assault, bodily harm, defense, attack, lethal, assaultive, serious bodily harm / death, deadly force. That's the basics of it. I don't know if this is the correct chart, but that's like the basics of it. Yeah, it's just a step of how you should deal with the use of force and things of that nature. A hat flip doesn't really enter into frame here. All right, it's not in the hat flip isn't something like, oh, I need to be I need to have some fear of my life. It's the use of force is known as the use of force continuum. It's just a guideline to show how much force may be used against resisting subject in a given situation, etc. It's essentially what you should be using if you're in a situation where you need to use to defend yourself, shit like of that nature. A hat flip isn't even on that fucking chart. It's a very inappropriate what happens next. So he jumps and gives a Superman punch. Okay, he Soldier Boys it. Why me you? So he punches SNEAKO. Now SNEAKO ends up with a bloody nose and a chipped tooth. Okay. Again, let's go back to that. Let's see what happened. Let's go back to it. Okay. He's enjoying life. He's flipping them off, dancing. He's enjoying life. All right. Life is good. And now SNEAKO comes. Boom. Flip his hat off. Okay. Now, is this dumb of SNEAKO? Probably. Okay. Probably. But they forced, from a hat flip, no obvious show, at least from the camera angle, showing that there was an actual fear of imminent danger that required him to react and defend himself. And all that there's so what the fuck was I saying? Yeah, there's no reason for this. There's no justifiable reason for the attack that the security guard did. There's no follow up. It's a hat flip. All right, it's a hat flip. So the security guard actually just assaulted SNEAKO for no reason, because his pride got hurt. A bunch of SNEAKO. Let's continue. Now, there's been critiques because if you go back, so I don't know what this guy's shouting. That's self-defense, SNEAKO. No, I don't know what he's trying to. If he's on the side of SNEAKO or if he's on the side of the security guard, that wasn't actually self-defense. Okay, just because someone hat flips you doesn't mean you automatically get to do self-defense. It's a hat flip. There's no law. There's no way you could logically say I was in reasonable fear of my life. Okay, it was a hat flip, and we'll go back to why. And here in a second, we'll go and see why SNEAKO did a hat flip. And when you get more of the information on why the hat flip happened, provides even less of a reason why the security guard should attack SNEAKO. This here is Jake Shields. He is an MMA fighter, and there's criticism of him not stepping in and protecting your boy SNEAKO. Okay, there's nothing of that nature. But I was listening to an X Space yesterday, and it appears SNEAKO says this is Jake Shields. I don't know if I mentioned it. I swear I did, but I wasn't sure. But Jake didn't see what happened, so he couldn't do it. See, now that Jake knows what's up, he wants to fight the dude. Yeah, well, I mean, I want you to get me legal. All right, so let's go back. All right, so now let's ask the reason why is SNEAKO hat flipped security guard. All right, why? Well, go up here. You can find out exactly why. Right here. This is why. Apparently, he tried to hat flip SNEAKO. Now, we don't have any evidence And this is actually SNEAKO. All right. All we got is Jocasta's word. And then SNEAKO updates before someone says SNEAKO deserved to be attacked and have his teeth broken. Security guard can be seen here taking his hat off first. We don't have evidence that that's the case. I don't think in this one either. Okay. So obviously this happens before. So we don't have any evidence this is SNEAKO, but in my opinion, that doesn't matter. Even if it's not SNEAKO, he did this too. The what SNEAKO did with the hat, flip was the same thing this guy did to either him or someone else. Well, for the sake of argument, we're gonna go with because all we got, all evidence wise, is what they say. So we'll go with the hearsay saying that this was SNEAKO. That security guard tried to take his hat off first with the hat flip. So if you get a hat flip, if someone knocks the your hat off your head doing the same thing that you did moments before, then guess what? It's kind of reasonable to assume that if someone else is gonna be trying to flipping your hat off as well. So this gives less of a reason why the security guard should be attacking anyone. I guess this is another angle, maybe. So he apparently attacked multiple attendees. This is also apparently prior to all this, to the SNEAKO attack. All right, so this happened afterwards. The police apparently came. I think SNEAKO's going to sue this guy for assault, which he should. That was an inappropriate application of force, obviously. Now SNEAKO says on the live that he didn't call the police. The police show up and he gave them his statement. And everyone's calling, oh, he called the police. Well, look, this type of security guard, let me tell you something. This is the type of security guard. If you retaliated for them striking you after there's been, some time and distance since the initial attack, they'd be running to the cops saying, this guy hurt me. This guy hit me for no reason. This guy attacked me. So I don't really care about, it's SNEAKO attacked him or SNEAKO went to the cops. Well, it's kind of what, we should, we're supposed to do in a civilized society is say, call the police when you've been wrong and there's been some distance in between the incident, because you can't really call it self-defense after there's been some time elapsed.
I saw you earlier. Hey, brother. I'm sorry I got in your way. I was like body blocking you. Yeah, I did. I just see you not close. That's all I had to say. I was like, what the? So SNEAKO just got his teeth and his nose bloodied. His main tooth right here is knocked out by one of the main security guards that actually shut the venue down, which is absolutely insane. The fact that they just filed a police report. I don't know if anything is actually going to happen against the security guard. He was the one that you see earlier in the video that is raising the music and dancing. He just outright assaulted SNEAKO on camera. A lot of people have it on video, but he's missing 2 teeth completely. His nose is bloodied. So this is a developing story, but we'll see you soon.
Okay. Here we go.
This was the security guard at this thing, at this event, right up here. Right up here, we got this guy jumped off the stage. No one attacked this guy, punched SNEAKO in the face. No one touched him. He jumped off the stage.
Now, that's not entirely accurate. He did flip his hat off him. Okay, so it's not entirely accurate, SNEAKO, but no one gave him a reason to think reasonably that this guy had to, defend himself with a punch.
Hit SNEAKO in the face. I watched the whole thing happen.
This was just right now?
Just now. Just fucking happened.
The guy that he shut off the speech to go play his music, he just got rocked in the face. But I'm a not.
So apparently, this security guard, AFAC, America First, whatever, on convention, they had a venue here. They booked, I think. The black guy didn't like it. The security guard, black security guard, didn't like it. So he shut off the music, or shut off the speakers and started playing his own music, which is what the music you see is, which also explains why you got a crowd of irate individuals. Now, if I'm the owner of this venue, I am firing the security guard immediately. This security guard just opened them up to a bunch of liability just because he disagreed with their opinion. It's not a good idea. Okay, this is a very bad idea for him. So if I'm this guy's if I'm this guy's company, if he's a contract employee, I'm firing this guy immediately. Because this guy's just going to cause me way too much hassle and probably going to cause me to deal with a bunch of lawsuits. And then and yeah, so yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? So let's listen to this.
Non-violent person. I care about America first. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. We'll take it through the legal necessary ways we got to do, because
honestly, probably press charges now.
we got.
Yeah, you absolutely should press charges. Let's see. I think that's it when it comes to this thing here.
We got SNEAKO here. He's got this bus.
Okay. So there we go. So that's the end of it. But yeah, again, I don't see any reason, appropriate reason, that the security guard could justify using a force and punching SNEAKO for a hat flip, especially considering the fact that, or not the fact, but the allegation that he was hat flipping either SNEAKO or someone else, and didn't do anything, didn't do a follow up. It would be reasonable. Okay, it would be reasonable. A reasonable person would think that if I tried to hat flip someone, and then afterwards did not do anything after the hat flip, like I didn't hat flip and punch him or anything, it would be reasonable to assume then that if someone hat flips me, they wouldn't be coming in for a punch afterwards either. So there's no real appropriate usage of any or appropriate reasoning for going out and punching someone in the face and breaking their teeth. So hopefully SNEAKO sues this security guard. Sues and so all that stuff. And also, police report's kind of necessary too. Another reason for the police report. If you're going to sue someone, is police report is also necessary as well. Hold on. All right. So what do you think? Was this a justified use of self-defense by the security guard to punch SNEAKO in the face for a simple hat flip? Do you think SNEAKO was in the right and the wrong? Do you think the security guard was in the right or the wrong? What you got to figure out. All right, moving on. So we're gonna go to this. So this is from last night, from whatever. Shit, I gotta link that thing. Anyways, so this is there we go. Dating Talk number 170. We are 3 hours and 13 minutes in. So the simple, yeah. So this is by far the dumbest response I've heard when people are asked this question. It's a very simple question. Let's see if he asks the question.
Men or women, starting with you.
All right. So,
oh my god.
So the question is, who is the primary victims of war? And as is my tradition, I will ramp it up to 1.5 speed, so I do not have to be here forever. I also don't want to bash in my head with hearing these dumbass answers again. So, let it. So that's the topic of discussion. Who is the primary victim of war?
God. I'm gonna need a minute to think.
And this chick here is, if you saw in the title, it says feral feminist rage quits. Yeah, this is the rage quitter here. She's also not that intelligent. Needs a minute every time asked this very simple question. I need a minute. I don't know. I need a minute. So
Think about that. Let's not start with me. Plead the fifth.
How about I'll count to 10.
No, you're not first else.
Start with you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go men on that one.
I'll say men.
I think both, but
Both.
Yeah, I think both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
Sure. Both.
yeah, lucky.
Men. Probably men.
Okay.
so, there's reasonable individuals like men. I think she said men, and she said men. These two said both because they're dumb. Okay, because let's just make it clear. The question was, who is the primary? Meaning, let's you know what? Let's Google the definition of primary. All right. So. So, the definitions of primary is of chief importance, principle, earliest in time or order, not derived from, caused by, or based on anything else, original. So, let's see what definition do you think are we going to probably use here? Is probably of chief importance in this instance, of chief importance, principle. Or let's see what else. Yeah. Okay. So here's a different definition, probably a better definition. First in rank. I think that's a definition that Brian is using. Is first in rank of importance. Chief. Yeah, I think that's the definition that Brian is using. So he's using primary as the chief importance or the first. Okay, so it goes primary, secondary, tertiary, I think, after that. So these two right here, they're dumb. She's like by far the dumbest. The chick in the pink here, she's really dumb. and all that. So, but yeah, so they both say both. Because they don't understand the question because they're too fucking dumb. Now let's see what this chick here.
Now, for those of you who said both, assuming you had to pick one or the other, which do you pick? So
Men.
I mean, I can't really pick because
Okay. Now, chick here becomes reasonable. It's like men. And now dummy here. It's like, I can't really pick. Really? Why? I mean, if you ask who's the primary victim of war, I would go with the people that end up dying the most, which is generally men.
I feel like, I don't know if y'all want me to elaborate, but
sure, you can
I
elaborate.
feel like
Well, that's why they asked you to pick, and now you're like, I don't know if you want me to elaborate.
the women are suffering just as much. If the men are at war and they're dying, and the women got to pick up the pieces of all that.
So her thinking is, well, because women are at home and they have to pick up the pieces because their men go off and die, they are on par equal to the men that died when it comes to victims of war. That is her logic here.
And they raise children by themselves.
And then here's this dumbass here, the feral feminist here, who's nodding like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And all that, then they're both really victims.
I would say
You
both
ask
are
me.
victims, but he asked who's the primary victim.
Primary. I think
Now this chick here on the left here, in the white, closest to Brian, asked if, made it very simple for her. Like, yeah, like, first off, the question doesn't mean that there's no other victims except this one victim. He's saying, in order of operations, who are the primary? What's the first people that are the victims of war? Okay, he's not saying there's no secondary victims of war. He didn't say any of that. He just asked for the primary.
Think both.
Would
Like,
you rather be in this
just because you're
situation?
dead, I mean, there's children now growing up with fathers and all that,
Wait.
and
But you get
so
to watch them grow up.
Okay, let me get your answer.
So, and then we're talking about like literal war, right? Not some like
Yeah, so
metaphorical.
you said both. If you had to pick, which?
Statistically,
Oh, I thought she said men. So apparently she said both.
I don't know. I mean, what? Like, I don't know. If you look it up, it'd probably be men.
Okay, so going back to your
Statistic?
point, you're saying, well, it's both because, well, the men are dead, but the women, it's tragic. They've lost their husband, their father.
yeah, you don't know what they have to
son.
do.
Again, that would be a secondary victim, okay? Because the person who dies is generally going to be the primary victim. Like, for instance, if asked, who's the primary victim of a murder, okay? Or even better, who's the primary victim of a rape, okay? Sexual assault, okay? Who's the primary victim in that instance? If you ask that question, all these women, and actually I think they do later ask that question, but they all said that the woman is. But why isn't the individual who's that woman's significant other, okay? Why isn't he also on par with her victimness? Because he has to go around and pick up the pieces and all that. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. The primary victim is the person that had the act committed upon him. So the primary victim in this scenario, or let's go back to my essay scenario. So the primary victim of the essay is the victim of the essay. Okay. Now, the secondary victims are probably their family members and loved ones who really care about the individual and have to see them go through this and be traumatized by the fact, whatever the fact they can't help them. They have to see them, being hurt and all that other things. Okay. Those would still be secondary victims. While victims also, I wouldn't put it on par as the same as the person that had the victimization or was victimized the most. So moving on from that, back to the victims of war. Again, the primary victim is the person who dies. It's the primary victim. The secondary victim, again, would be the people that she's talking about, the women who are around and have to live with, without their loved one, which, obviously sucks. Let's make them the primary victim.
Whatever it
to
is.
keep it going.
But wouldn't
keep
you
pushing.
agree that when it comes to being a victim of something, being really, really sad isn't as bad as being dead?
I mean, what's the emotional trauma being passed down now onto these generations through these men being dead? I mean, sure, they're the primary victims. Are they?
I love fucking Andrew. He's fucking dying. He's dying because this chick thinks she's smart. She's like, thinks she's really smart. She's not really smart. She's fucking dumb as shit. Like, oh, emotional trauma. And yeah, but here's the thing with all that emotional trauma, all right? There is that opportunity and chance to eventually get through it and rise above it and be better due to it than there is of just being dead. Okay, when you're dead, no more.
Are they the primary victims? I don't know. Like, because now you go to war. Now, let's say your grandpa goes to war, your dad goes to war, your uncles go to war. Now, your grandma and your mom is raising, let's say, 5, 6, 7 children, and you can't even raise these kids. Like, I don't know. Like, and these kids don't have any fathers in their life. So, are they really the men? Sure, they died. They went to war and fought and died, but they're still a victim.
Well, then you have
so.
You'll notice this Blondie. All she does is fuck with her hair 99% of the time when she's talking. It's kind of it can be a show of stress and anxiety. I think she's, it's really a show of like the brain is moving a lot more than the motors are running in her head a lot more than she's used to. So it's just hurting her. So she's got to like cool herself off by messing with her hair. She's got like a steam engine for her brain. She's got not a steam engine, but whatever. She's basically gotta cool it off. That's why she keeps, because she doesn't use her brain that much. It's pretty fucking obvious.
A different question. If somebody has cancer and then they die of cancer, are they the primary victim?
Well, of course.
Or
that's cancer.
See, like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? So he asked a very simple question. All right. If someone has cancer and they die of cancer, would you say they are the primary victims? Well, of course, but that's different. How? Like, Like, does their family not also have equal emotional trauma that's going on? Because now they've lost their dad or their father, or well, I just said that, but their husband and all that stuff. They lost all of that, and but they're not as equal as a victim when it comes to cancer. But when it comes to war, they're an equal victim.
The disease. I think it's
Yeah,
different.
but you still have to pick up the pieces, and you have emotional trauma.
That's true.
And
That is
all the
very
same,
true.
all the same side effects, right?
Well, are you when you say primary victim?
Like, see, she's even like, oh shit, that's true. She realizes how dumb she is in this moment. I think. We'll see. I can't remember last night that much, but she realized how dumb she is because Andrew just threw it right back at her. It's like, hey, there's still people that have to pick up the pieces, all that stuff that you just said they have to do during when their loved ones are killed during war. It's the same thing when it comes to cancer, but then you say the primary victim is of the cancer and not the individual who ended up dying.
Are you talking about like physically? Like, okay, obviously the men who go to war.
In totality, I'm not making any differentiation between.
I feel like you kind of
mentally,
have to though in this
physically.
situation.
No, you don't. You don't have to make a distinguishment between the physicality and the mentality. It's not. Okay? You don't have to make that distinguishment. It's who's the primary, the first, and the order of operation, who's the first. Be the fucking men. The chief importance is the men because they're the ones who die the most. They're the ones who cease to live. No boss, gone. There's no distinction that needs to be made for this whole question.
Well, not really.
Why not
Well,
really?
the question is in totality.
I feel like it goes both ways.
I think he made a good point with the cancer thing. I do think he did make a good point with that.
Speaking of which, we
But
didn't get your
yes.
answer to the question.
See, she even admits it. She's like, he makes a good point with the cancer thing. Yeah, you dumb moron. Of course he made a good point because your justification doesn't make any fucking sense when you say both just because, hey, these people also get some emotional suffrage going on. Again, while that may be true, why is the cancer person not get enough, doesn't get the emotional suffrage problem, but the person who has to have a loved one die of war gets, like, it doesn't make any sense. All right. And she realized how dumb she's said. That's why she's got to come in and say, "Oh yeah, no, he made a very good point of talking about the cancer example."
Both. Okay.
I would ask, who would you rather be, a man in war or a woman at home stuck with, picking up the pieces?
I mean, you're asking a woman from her point of view what I would rather be. I mean, I don't know. That's a fair
Just
question.
what situation do
That's what did she fucking say? You're asking a woman from her point of view. Yes, I'm asking a woman for her point of view on a situation. What the fuck are you saying?
would you rather find yourself in?
I mean, I wouldn't even want to be a man, so I don't know. Like,
Okay, that wasn't the fucking question, you idiot. We didn't ask you who would you rather be, man or woman. What the question was is, who would you rather, in this situation, who would you rather be, the man who goes off to war or the woman who who goes off, who has to pick up the pieces after their man dies? Like, again, the question wasn't would you want to be a man or a woman. The question was, do you want to be a man at war or a woman staying at home picking up the pieces? That was the question.
Okay, then we'll just ask it this way: would you rather go fight the wars while the men stayed at home?
I mean, if I was physically more,
No, just as you are right
sure.
now.
Huh?
As you are right now.
As I am right now, but I want to fight a war. Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, I don't think anybody wants to fight a war.
Do you think?
What
So
do you
let's
mean?
assume for a second that you're happily married. Okay, and your husband has like a busted leg. Okay, and you get drafted and you get sent off to war and he stays home.
Is this a Mulan situation? Is she gonna have to go up and sing a song? What was it? I'll make a man out of you. Whatever the fuck it's called. The fuck?
And while you're in the war and there's blood and guts everywhere and you're watching your friends get sniped and
It's the right
Also,
thing to do.
again, just they're laying this up basically, but death isn't just what men have to go through during war. Okay, there's also emotional trauma on the men's side of seeing your buddies blown up, die, killed, and all that stuff. There's that emotional trauma, but that doesn't fucking matter. Okay, because all they automatically thought of when it came to war was the men being dead and the women having to have emotional trauma.
For a man,
and you hang on and you die. Is your husband as much of a victim as you?
If my
tell you in a
wait, I'm sorry. So if my husband's like a stay-at-home,
Yeah.
because I don't know what happened. I got drafted. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he much of a victim? Yeah, I think so. I think
You
now
think
he's got to
as much
pick up
of
the
a victim
pieces
as you
of.
are?
Yeah, he's just as much of a victim of war as I am. I think.
That's great.
You know,
So
just,
in his next marriage, he can sit down and be like, oh man, I've had it rough. My wife died in a war, and I'm as much of a victim as she is.
Yeah,
And,
for him. Man.
and so
don't know what that did to him.
Really, that's what you think? That's the point of view?
Yeah. Well, think about a woman. I mean, if a woman has sit there and her man died, and now she's got to go on with that. I mean, who's to even say like she goes and remarries? But let's say she does.
I'm not saying
can't-
she's not going to have like emotional trauma from it. I'm just
Yeah,
asking, do you really think that she's the primary victim here?
I think she's most. I mean, a primary victim. Yeah, I think so. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
Well, then how come your husband wouldn't be the primary victim
I
if
just
he
said
went
he
off
was.
the war?
I just said he would have been. I mean,
Oh, he would have been. So your
I mean, I said both. Like my answer to the question wasn't man or woman. It was I feel like both are. So that's my answer. It's not.
I don't think
that,
you can choose a primary. is
I,
what she's
yeah,
saying.
Yes,
exactly.
you
I
can.
don't think,
It's very simple. You choose one. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. That to choose the first person, because again, none of this is saying that none of the other people don't have to have troubles afterwards. They're not victims in themselves. They're just asking in the order of operation, who comes first in the victimhood? Is it the guy who died, or is it the woman who had to stay at home and pick up the pieces afterwards?
I think they're very much equally primary victims of war. That's what I think.
They're equally primary victims.
Yes, there's a war going.
Yeah, she's not. Again, she's really fucking dumb, because guess what? You can't have two primaries. There's gonna be a 1 and a 2. Okay, can't have two primaries.
On just like cancer. If my husband dies of cancer, I feel like I'm primarily a victim of cancer. It took my husband. Now I have to sit here and pick up the pieces of that. So now that makes me somewhat a victim as well.
No, she says that now, but initially that's not what she thought.
So like I had to deal with that.
So
Maybe
if
just
you,
'cause I don't have
you
cancer
could choose,
doesn't mean I'm
so
not
if you
victim
could
of it.
choose, if your husband had cancer or you had cancer, you could choose, which one would you choose?
What if we had to choose which one had to have cancer? I mean, I think being a righteous person, you'd always choose yourself. So I guess I would choose myself.
Oh, bullshit. She's not gonna choose herself. She would much rather her sorry, I got distracted by something. No, she wouldn't choose. Like, I don't. This chick's not a righteous person. All right, let's just get that clear. All right, but she, for a fact, she's lying to win the argument at this point. For a fact, she would much rather her husband get cancer than her get cancer.
I wouldn't
So
want.
you choose yourself.
I wouldn't want. Yeah, I mean,
But would you be victimizing him a bit?
I mean, yeah, but he would be a victim if he chose. It'd be the same way, vice versa. If I wanted to do it and he wanted, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple clarifying questions on this one. So when it comes to, some of you said both. Does anybody here think it's women, or is it both? Okay, so I'd like to perhaps break this down into a couple different conflicts. So, and I want to break it down geographically. So the United States, for World War I, who's the primary victim of war of the U.S. population during World War I, men or women, or is it both?
Wait a second.
Okay,
But you're saying the primary victim of war.
In
during World War I.
Yeah.
Does that change your answer at all? For those of you who said both?
Well, I mean, who was the primary victim? Who had the most casualties was obviously men, and probably young men at that. But I mean, the women were victims in one.
Okay.
It's not saying women weren't victims. It's saying who was the primary. I know she's really dumb, guys. I understand. It's just frustrating.
The women had to pick up. Okay, your answer? You said both, right? Okay, for World War I, what's your answer for U.S. men?
For U.S. men, I think, well, since I said both, I feel like men it's more physical trauma, and for the women it would be more mental. I'm not saying that war doesn't have.
For the women, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just because like say your like husband died and that's like the love of your life, and like you love that man and he dies, and it's like that's
okay.
It's like
And I believe even in World War I, or no, I guess it was probably more like World War II, where it was like the economy went really bad, and women were the ones who had to carry the economy while men were at war.
So just to be clear on the World War II note that you just brought up,
They had to get up and like go work.
Yeah, but it's sad because women didn't have rights before
crazy.
that.
Those victims,
that's why they gave us rights because they couldn't work.
Weren't they like woman?
Just to be clear, you said women didn't. There's a lot.
I mean, they did have some rights, but they didn't have the right to vote. And so
wait, just to be clear, women. You're saying your argument is women didn't have the right to vote during World War II.
I mean, I can't remember the year, but if it was the 30s, 40s, or 50s,
What year did women get the right to vote?
I don't know. Was it the 50s or was it the 40s?
Americans served in the United States Armed Forces during World War II.
I'm trying
There
to
were
skip. 'Cause look,
almost
it's
300,000.
really hard listening to this dumb chick talk because she's fucking dumb. So I'm just trying to go past that, like as much as this argument, because they make even a dumber case later on about when it comes to this. So and I got the stats to back it, how dumb they are.
1,000 were killed, 670,000 were wounded, almost exclusively men.
Yeah.
There were also 130,000 American prisoners of war, of whom 116,000 returned home after the war. Now, let's also make an assumption here, and maybe Andrew, I don't know if you can help me search this. What percentage of the serving military men were married? Because typically they're drafting 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. I know people got married much younger then. I don't know if they have statistics on that.
Uncles,
but
fathers,
let's just for the
brothers, not
sake
just
of
husbands.
let's just for the sake of argument say that a majority of the men were not married, didn't have children, didn't have a significant other, didn't have a girlfriend. So the sort of second, in my view, the secondary victims would be who? The family?
It's estimated.
Wait, hold on.
About 46% were married.
46%. Okay, so a minority, but still a lot, right?
Still a lot.
Okay, but let's talk about then that majority of men who were single, who were not married. If we talk,
So I'm gonna skip forward ahead even more because I just really can't listen to this again. All right. So this is
He's
where
no longer
their
experiencing mental trauma.
their arguments become just even dumber. Let's see. So this is when their arguments just become even dumber.
He's no longer experiencing mental trauma. The man has passed away. He experienced death, which obviously is horrible. But now the people at home, the women,
Yeah, they have to carry.
They
that.
are carrying
They
on.
have to carry on with that.
So do you
And
think
they have to
that-
go
okay,
teach
so
their
let's, let's
children
kind
and
of-
their
so that's why I'm
examine
saying
this.
this
Do you
question is situational because
So then by this logic, then you think it's better to be dead than be alive with trauma?
Sometimes.
honestly, yeah,
And are
Really
all of you
depends.
traumatized?
Are all of us traumatized?
like in general.
So yeah, haven't you experienced trauma? Isn't psychological
every
trauma
person
pretty
has,
much all-
yeah.
And aren't you living with trauma? Then why aren't you unaliving?
Because maybe it's not that deep.
It's situational. Like I don't know why you can understand that it's
Yeah,
situational.
I agree. It's situational. But what I'm saying to you is that it's beyond obvious to me that people would much rather live with trauma than be dead. That seems obvious.
I mean, a lot of
to me.
people
It's
kill
not-
themselves. No, it's not because a lot of people
Wouldn't
kill
you say-
themselves
wouldn't
every
you say
year.
it's
So
beyond-
Okay, so you know what they made prior is, oh well, the woman is also as traumatized as the man because she has to deal with the loss and going through it. Blah 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 blah. And all that. So so that's just as traumatic. And what Andrew's getting at is, okay, well, if that's the case, okay, that it's better to be dead as they're making, okay, that these women are making the case. It's better to be dead than it is to live with trauma. Andrew asks, well, then why aren't more people who experience trauma unaliving themselves? And I think they just said that, well, they probably are at a high rate. So
A lot of
Obvious
people,
considering how many
Americans,
pass
people
away.
choose to live with trauma rather than unaliving?
Actually, a lot of people pass away from self-inflicted injuries because
Very
of the
few.
trauma they've been.
a lot of people kill themselves.
No, not a
especially
lot.
when-
lot of people
A
commit
whole
suicide.
lot more people live with trauma than unalive themselves.
But a
from
lot still unalive
Wait.
themselves
But can you
because of that.
like what statistic? Like, can you?
she's like, oh, what statistic, yo? And
Pull that out of and say like, yeah, these people live with trauma. Like you're just saying.
So
stuff.
therefore,
Like,
can you just
anybody
say
saying
that
I'm
it's
just saying, okay,
situational?
I'm
Like
just
I
saying,
don't
so
know
let's
why.
just see if
Well,
we
it's
can
gotta be
agree
very
if it's obvious or not.
statistical, so-
You
How
guys are
many
looking at this
women
black
as a
and white.
percentage?
yes, because it's a very black and white thing. It's like it doesn't matter like the situation is up. We have the data to back it up, and I have that data with me, and I'll bring it up here in a second.
As a percentage, do you think live with significant trauma? Over 20%?
Yes.
If it's over, do you think that women are unaliving themselves at a rate of 20%?
I mean, I don't know the percentage,
know.
but I know that
You don't
every
know
year
if
goes
women are
up.
unaliving
People
themselves
kill
at a rate of
every year goes
20%?
up.
No, they're not.
Which means you don't want to live with
If
it.
you lost 20% of a population in a war, it would be the biggest bloodbath known to man. 20% is astronomical. We're talking about astronomical numbers. There's no way. It should be completely obvious to you that there's no fucking way 20% of women unalive themselves due to trauma. That's just insane.
I didn't see
There's no way.
You're the one who
No
said
one
that. You're the one who
Like,
brought up 20%.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
the percentage.
no.
Yeah, see, this is how dumb these broads are. He asked them, "Do you think it's 20% as presenting an a number?" Sure. He asked them, "Do you think it's 20% of women committing suicide or unaliving themselves?" And they said, "Yeah." Okay. They said yes. And now they're saying, "Well, you said the number." Yes, but you agreed with number. Now, let me give you the actual statistics facts. All right. The suicide rate among males in 2021 was approximately 4 times higher than the rate among females. Males make up 50% of the population, but nearly 80% of the unaliving. So, males, so per 100,000, 22.8 males unalive themselves. The females per 100,000, the rate per 100,000, 5.7 women unalive themselves. Okay, so that's the number. The 20 number is actually males. Women are not are like are way below that.
I know that.
We didn't know what you meant by the whole
Suicide is
20%.
very high in America, and I know
Bro,
every
you're not listening to the logic, right? You talk more than you listen, and yet I've been sitting here listening, not talking. So the thing is what I asked specifically was this question: do you think that more women unalive themselves due to trauma or live with the trauma? And she's like, well, I don't know. Okay, well, if that's the case, do you think that at least more than 20% of women experience significant trauma? Yes. Are they unaliving themselves? No, they're not.
Well, how
They're unaliving themselves at the rate of 5.7 per 100,000.
But you're not. No, you're not. No, because I don't feel like what you're saying is like real statistics. You're just throwing numbers out and saying is that 20% of women
because you agreed with the 20%, and he's saying that's ridiculous.
who experience high 20% of women who experience
and I love. She's like, well, you're just throwing numbers out. Well, you don't have any numbers to counteract. You're just saying that it's high. You're not giving us a number.
high trauma. Are they unaliving themselves? A lot of them might be. Who like? Can you tell me?
How many
like,
do you
can you
think
tell me?
are?
Because I can't tell you. Huh?
Well, how many do you think are? So
I don't know.
let's say you have. Let's just do it easy. Let's just do it easy. If you have 30 women who are experiencing severe trauma, do you think 15 of them are going to unalive
I
themselves?
think no, not 15, but 3.
Do you think
Probably
10?
3 out of 30. Probably
Maybe
like
like
3 out of 30.
3.
Whatever you look up is going to be like too big of a statistic anyway. Like I don't think it matters if it's like 5% or
Oh my fucking god, this chick's just as dumb. She's like, well, you know, hold on. Let me let her finish.
20%. It's a lot. It's bad. Like it's too many. 1 is too many.
Okay, 1 is too many. Shut up. That's not the question. Stop being dumb, okay? Because guess what? 4 times the amount of men are unaliving themselves than it is women. So shut up. So shut up with this. 1 is too many. Okay.
An attempt is too many. So no matter, it doesn't even matter that it's like 20%.
It does matter. All right, it does matter because the context of the conversation. If you weren't so fucking dumb, what is that? How many are choosing to live with the trauma than unaliving themselves and choosing death? Okay, that's the context, the conversation. And if they're choosing not to unalive themselves, then obviously they believe it's better to be alive than it is to be dead. So the rates of how many unalive themselves is a little important here. All right. And if it ends up being, 5.7, like it is, then it would show that most women would rather stay alive than they would and deal with their trauma than unalive themselves, which would entail back to the conversation that more people, that most people would believe that being alive and suffering some trauma is a lot better than dying, which would make men the primary victims of war.
It's too much. Like I don't even know.
But the point of the question is to make the determination as to whether people would rather, if it's obvious that people would rather live with trauma rather than not. It seems that would be self-obvious to everybody in existence, considering that most people, or the overwhelming majority, the vast majority of all of humanity, does not unalive themselves, even though many of them experience massive trauma. They're not unaliving themselves.
But lots of them are still suffering horribly.
But do the percentage
so what? like she's like, well, there's a lot of people suffering. Yes, but they choose life instead of unaliving themselves, meaning they view that living with their suffering is a lot better than being dead. So going back to the war question, the men are the primary victims of war because most people would choose to live with trauma.
They could be suffering, but if they're making the choice not to unalive themselves, then it seems that they consider that to be the superior position. Right? It seems that they prefer to be alive. That seems to be the superior
arguing your
position.
guys' statement that it's better to live with trauma than die, or that it's worse to live with trauma than die.
I think every person has.
I think it's situational. You're dumb. You're fucking retarded. All right. It's not situational because we have the data to combat this. It doesn't matter. What are situations doesn't fucking matter. All right. We're asking for a generalization.
Trauma. I don't think every person has serious trauma. Now, what one person might consider serious.
I think just because somebody chooses to stay alive throughout their trauma doesn't mean,
but
that
people
they
who
are
are
happy about
experiencing
that.
mass trauma.
Well, they're clearly far more happier than being dead because if they thought death was the better choice, they take that option.
like very high levels of stress and trauma and are very not well in their head, like mentally disturbed, how many of these people are unaliving themselves? Probably a decent percentage of them.
Yes, but
No, I'm not.
Hey, where is your statistical facts to back that up? You're saying a decent amount are unaliving themselves that instead of dealing with their trauma. Where's your statistical facts?
Saying 50%, maybe 3, 4, 5 to 10% might be, and that's.
And okay, she's even saying 3, 4, 5, 10%. She's thinking, okay, so 10% of people that have trauma are unaliving themselves. That would still mean 90% are not and choosing life as the better option than death.
So
okay, you know what? Let me just ask this in the most.
So
basic
sure,
way
yeah.
possible.
Then your point is, yeah, you're correct. Would you rather live with trauma? Yeah.
Intuitively, hang on. Let me just ask this in a way all of you would just intuitively kind of understand. Do you think
we just heard her just agree that yes, more people would rather live than die. So that would mean that the primary victim of war is the men that died. Because the majority of men died during war.
If you went to most people, men and women, and you asked them this question, if you push button A, you're going to have experience serious trauma. And if you push button B, you're going to die. Which button do you think they would push?
Starting with you, go ahead.
I feel like it depends on the person. Do
Yes.
you want to get shot or do you want to get raped?
Oh my God. See how dumb these chicks are? It depends on the person. That's why we're asking the generalization, okay? Generally, okay, out of, the population, how many would want to choose death than life?
That's the question.
That's not the question.
Like,
That's not what I
yeah,
said.
no, it actually is.
See, like how she just changed it, because there's a lot more other traumas than grape, than SA. All right, there's other traumas around than just grape and SA. So that's not the question. She's trying to divert because she knows that she's losing, and she realizes two seconds ago she agreed and proved the point. And I think Brian and Andrew missed that because she just yaps and interrupts while they're in the middle of speaking themselves.
Would you rather die or would you rather get raped? Like, that's
actually is the question.
That's not the question, okay? Because there's other emotional traumas than just being graped.
Depends on the type of
It
trauma.
literally
That's
is the
my
question. It's
That's not
situational,
my question.
But
My
that's
question
trauma,
was,
crazy trauma versus
Button
dying. What would you
A.
rather choose? Pick.
That's not my question. Stop. Here's the question again. Don't rephrase the question.
No, it's like compare apples
Okay.
to
The question is: button A, you experience significant trauma. Button B, you die on the spot.
But he
A lightning bolt shoots out of the sky and you die. Those are your two options. Do you think most people would choose button A or button B?
I think people would choose the trauma, but I think would they regret that? They might. I think a high percentage might.
See, again, like she asked for the statistical facts to back up, Andrew's claim, but then she makes some of her own. Like, well, I think they might. Well, what's your statistical evidence for that? Then shut the fuck up of asking for mine.
Why do you think they would choose the trauma?
Because when after you dealt with the trauma, now I'm living with this crazy wild shit when I could have just died. You might at that point
No.
decide it was.
Why do you think they
I
would
should have
choose
to just
the
die.
trauma?
Just screw
Why do you
with
think
this
they would
trauma.
choose the trauma?
Huh? Because they
Why
don't
do you
know.
think
I
they
mean,
choose it?
unless they know what the trauma is, like if like I said, if it's like, okay, what's
All
the
right, so I'm gonna stop this for a second because I got the stats on this. All right. So, gonna go back here. Okay. So, let's see. So this is from FEH, FEH Health. It's a FEH. FHErehab.com/trauma/statistics. All right. So the prevalence of mental trauma. According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, 61% of men and 51% of women reported at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. This would put mental trauma at the top of the list of most common psychological health conditions. For perspective, these are some of the most common mental health disorders, courtesy of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So depression, 7.2% of American adults report having had a major depression episode. Anxiety disorder, 19.1% of Americans say they've suffered from anxiety at some point in their lives. PTSD, 3.6% of Americans are currently living with PTSD. Okay? So, again, 61% of men and 51% of women reported at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. So 51% of women are have experienced some sort of trauma in their life. Okay. Now let's go back to that statistic I had earlier. Let's go back to that statistic. Let's see. Okay. So this is from the CDC. Okay. From the CDC. So we just again. So 61% of men experience trauma, one traumatic event in their lifetime. 51% of women. Okay. So remember those: men 61, women 51. Okay. So they experience mental trauma. So rate per 100,000, 22.8 men commit unalive themselves, while only 55.7 rate of women unalive themselves. So men are 80% of the suicides, and women are 20% of the suicides. Unaliving, sorry. Right? Yeah. So, well, I guess she was right when she said 20%. Yes, it's 20%. But going back here. So, yeah. So like I said, like 51% of women are have experienced trauma, but they still don't make up a high percentage of the unaliving. So it just shows that most people would rather live with trauma. At least when it comes to females. So there we go. We just proven that 51% of women have experienced trauma, and only 20% of them unalive themselves. So I retract my earlier statement. She was right. Was 20%. And then when you get down to it, it's 22 point, was it 5? Yeah, 22.5 per 100,000 that do it, and then it's 5.7 for females that do it. So there we go. Oh, okay. So there we go. So it just shows that more people choose to live with trauma than I don't. There we go. I just shown it's not such. I'm done with this because they're so dumb. I'm over it. I'm I'm tapping out. But as I just showed that, okay, well, 51% of females experience trauma, and only 20% of females unalive themselves. Okay, so it kind of shows that they're not, even with all that trauma, they're still choosing life. All right, there we go. That's the end of it. Got no more because God, those chicks are dumb. Oh, I forgot this. I should want to give a shout out to Big Dipper 62, who gave me a follow. I appreciate that so much. So thank you. I meant to say that at the beginning of the show, but I forgot. My bad. My B guy. My B. Fucking dumbass broads. It kind of shows how dumb women are. All right. So, House just recently passed a bill. And actually, there's also some more breaking news coming out that we'll take a look at here right after this. So let's go over the automatic draft. Now, here's the thing. Men, so you were always subject to the draft. All right. So you were required to register. So now all the House has done is pass a bill that you automatically get registered. So you don't have to do it yourself. Okay. Selective service is already mandatory for males, U.S. citizens aged 18 to 24. Actually, so they've apparently extended it too. So now the bill automatically registers men 18 to 26 for draft. Okay. So the House of Representatives passed a measure on Friday, automatically registering men aged 18 to 26 for selective services. as it was part of the annual National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, which sets out the government's military and national security priorities over the next fiscal year. This year's NDAA authorized $895.2 billion in military spending and $9 billion increase from fiscal 2024. While it hasn't been invoked in over half a century, it's a mandatory for all males, U.S. citizens, to register for selective services, also known as the military draft, when they turn 18. Failure to register is classified as a felony and comes with a host of legal challenges. So every time I see this bring up, I see the women making the argument of, well, man, there hasn't been a draft in forever. So, I mean, is it really that big deal? That's true. Okay. While that may be true, that it's been a minute since we've actually had a draft, you still get punished if you fail to register. So there's a whole list of things. It's a felony. You can't really get a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Supporters of the amendment argued it would cut down on bureaucratic red tape, help U.S. citizens avoid unnecessary legal issues, as well as cut down on taxpayer dollars going towards prosecution. By using available federal database, the Selective Service Agency will be able to register all of the individuals required and thus help ensure that any future military drafts is fair and equitable. This will allow us to rededicate resources, basically that means money, towards readiness and towards mobilization, rather than towards education, advertising campaigns driven to register people. The NDAA also includes the largest ever military pay raise in history, with a 19.5 increase for junior enlisted troops and a 4.5 increase for others. It's not goddamn. If you're in the military now, you can be making bank for once. Good. We're finally giving our troops a good fucking paycheck. Not mentioning odds are that it doesn't touch the all the benefits they get. It also includes funding of 2 new Virginia class submarines and establishment of drone forces within the U.S. military, among other provisions. Let's see. So let's see. It was passed in the House in a 2017 to 999 vote, but is unlikely to be taken up by the Senate. Okay, so the House passed it, but the Senate probably is not going to enforce it because amendments curbing funding for abortions, transgender medical care, and diversity. We're talking about the draft. We don't give 2 shits about this shit. Oh, that's funny as hell. All right. I mean, I like, look, men have to, do the draft anyways. I think it's dumb we haven't had it automatic. Because you've had to register, and sometimes you just don't fucking know. And well, I doubt that because you see it everywhere and it's common knowledge. But sometimes you just don't know. Okay, and instead we just let's just punish people. Now, some breaking news here that would devastate the military. Breaking: Senate Armed Service Committee proposes mandatory draft registration for women in FY25 defense policy bill. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. Because I don't give it. All right, so the Senate Armed Service Committee, SASC, has proposed to include a provision in the fiscal year 2025 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, that mandates draft registration for women. Under the latest NDAA, not only will men aged 18 to 26 be automatically registered for selective service, but an amendment will also propose mandatory draft registration for women. There you go, women. Here is your equality that you've wanted so much. Oh, man. Please note that the version of the fiscal 2025 NDAA passed by the House of Representatives is distinct from the version advanced by the Senate Armed Services Committee. In May, the FY25 NDAA received strong bipartisan support as it was approved by the House Armed Services. The vote overwhelmingly was overwhelmingly in favor, passing 57-1. On Friday, the House of Representatives approved its version of the bill. Okay, hold on. Section 3A1, except as otherwise provided in this title, every male of the United States and every other male residing in the United States between the ages of 18 and 26 shall automatically register under this act. This selection shall not apply to any aliens lawfully admitted to the United States as non-immigrant under Section 101A15 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, for so long as he continues to maintain a lawful non-immigrant status in the United States. Okay. Now, why is this important? Well, just want to point this out that what was it, a few days ago, Biden and Zelensky signed a securities agreement between them, basically saying, hey, we're going to continue to support you and give you assistance while you continue to fight the Russians. Now, all of a sudden, for the first time since the draft was implemented, when was the selection service in? Just make sure. So that was passed May 18th of 1917. So since 1917, we've had the draft. So for the first times in years, or almost in over 100 years, now we have a draft, or now we have an automatic registration. Now, before I get into that, if you're gonna have to deal with the draft, you need some strong and beautiful coffee to help you wake up for those that early morning PT and all that stuff. So my recommendation is 1775 Coffee Company. It's time to say goodbye to Starbucks and say hello to Rumble's 1775 coffee. Unlike other brands, this is a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. So if you want to protest being drafted, 1775 coffee backs that up because they back up free speech. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off on any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium and dark roast. It also comes in peat berry, which is similar to Kono coffee. In other words, this stuff is premium. Click the link in the live chat or the description. You can also go directly to 1775coffee.com and use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off today. I highly recommend 1775 coffee. This is what I was currently drinking before I emptied it. It's actually quite delicious. I enjoy it a lot. So I highly recommend 1775 coffee. You should really give it a try. It's really good. I'm really excited. I just bought a coffee grinder. I'm going to get coffee beans and make it as fresh as possible. Because the pea berry that they mentioned only comes in coffee beans, while the medium dark roasts are already grounded. The pea berry comes only in coffee beans. So check out 1775coffee.com and you can get 40% off on your subscription today. Why not do it? There we go. I lost so many people. 4 people. They're like, fuck you ads. No, I really recommend 1775 coffee. It's so good. I enjoy it. It tastes wonderful. So I really highly recommend it. So give it a look-see. I know everyone jumped out of here as soon as I started doing that ad. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, since 1917, when the draft was first, or the selection service was first implemented, now we're actually may have to deal with an actual automatically registering people for the draft. Now, again, I ask you, why is that? Why all of a sudden is there a proposal to automatically make the draft automatic? Because we didn't do that during World War I. Wait, hold on. When World War I was? Hold on. Okay. So let's see. It ended. Okay, so shortly after selective service. Okay. So I retract that statement. So we didn't make it automatic during World War II, during the Vietnam, during the Korean, during Desert Shield, Desert Storm, none of that. No, after 9/11, nothing. We didn't make sure to automatic or make it automatic at all during those times. Now all of a sudden, we're making it automatic, and I agree. Yeah, I think it should be automatic regardless because it just makes things a lot easier on people. But Biden just signed a new security agreement with Ukraine, with Zelensky, promising for the next 10 years they will continue to support Ukraine's efforts against Russia. So I ask you, do you think maybe that all of a sudden this new automatically signing people up for the draft has something to do with it? I mean, it's my question. Do you think so? I think that might have something to do with it. Okay, that might have something to do with it. I don't know. So, that's what I think. What do you think? All right, we got one more thing, and I think I'm going to add something on, and then we'll call it a day. So, the new RNC chairwoman, Laura Trump, has told everyone her plan come election day, what she's going to do to try and ensure a free, fair, and transparent election. Because I don't care what you think. Okay. 2020 election was definitely free. All right. And fair. 100%. All right. Anyways, let's check this out. So let's see what Laura Trump has to say, how her plan for RNC is. Or for the 2024 election. See what she has to say.
Our other top priority is election integrity. Because Charlie, let's face it, if we don't have free, fair, and transparent.
So this was during TPA USA, I think it is. I don't know.
Elections, nothing else matters, and that is our goal at the RNC. And by the way, every single person in this country, regardless of how you vote, should want free and fair elections. So
now, hopefully, this means if Trump gets reelected, which I hope, or gets elected, which I hope, and if they gain control of the Senate and the House, that they actually pass some goddamn voter ID laws. It's currently right now in like an act that, SAVE Act or whatever it's called. They're currently trying to do it. But if, the Republicans get control back to the Senate, or gets control of the legislation and executive branch, they better pass some goddamn voter ID laws, because a lot of this wouldn't be as necessary to the extent they have to go through. But a lot of this wouldn't be as necessary if we had some voter ID laws and required you to, hey, you can do whatever you want in your state election, but when you do federal elections, you need a voter ID law.
Oh.
Because come May 2025, guess what? You're going to have a real ID to fly domestically, but you don't need one. And real ID basically just means you have a proof of citizenship, I guess. I don't know. Let's see, real ID. Hold on. Sorry, hold on. Okay, yeah. So let's see. What is a real ID? Yeah, so you're gonna need a real ID. It's like, I think basically like you got to prove your citizenship to have the ID or some shit like that. I don't know. It's some more, it's not good enough for you to have a regular driver's license anymore to fly domestically. Anyways, so we need a real ID to fly domestically come 2025, but we don't need a voter ID to vote. Like, this is ridiculous. So hopefully when Trump gets elected again, and hopefully the House and the Senate will be taken back by the Republicans, they actually pass some stuff instead of doing what they normally do and say they want to do stuff and then wait till the Democrats get control back and then bitch and moan and say we can't do anything because of them.
Right before I came here, I was about 30 minutes away with the chairman of the RNC, Michael Whatley. He and I started here in the state of Michigan, launching
there's 2 chairs. She's the co-chair.
Our election integrity program. And what we want to do is train 100,000 people all across this country to be part of that team. Now, what does that mean? That means we want poll watchers, but not just that. We want poll workers. We have a unique opportunity right now that we have not had in 40 years as a party. For 40 years, there was a consent decree placed upon the RNC that did not allow us to train people to work as poll workers. Now think about that for a second. Who was training, Charlie? All the people for the past 40 years, not the RNC. Think about how many people the DNC got to train to work in these polling locations. Yeah.
And, there's been a lot of videos coming out of poll workers who end up who were trashing some various things. Like you see them trashing votes and just taking, there's been a lot of videos coming out with this. So it's,
Yes. So now we have this amazing opportunity so we can train you to work in a polling location. We can train you to work in a tabulation center where the mail-in ballots come in. We also want attorneys to work in every major polling location. So we are not reactive, we are proactive. The second you see an issue, we address it. We're going to have war rooms set up all across this country in every state.
All right, I don't know. Let's see, when was this done? Okay, so this was June 14th. So this was Friday. Surprised I haven't seen anything about leftists saying she said war.
State as well to deal with things as they happen, not days, weeks, or months later. So protectthevote.com is the website. Again, protectthevote.com. If you want to be part of our team, we will come to you and we will train you in your state, give you everything you need to know. Any lawyers in the audience or listening, if you are a lawyer, you do not have to be trained in election law. We will train you on exactly what you need to be looking out for. It will take a Herculean effort to fight back against all the nonsense and all the nefarious activities that we know happen out there. But this year is the year we do it. We are also sending a loud and clear message out there to anyone who thinks about cheating in an election. If you cheat in an election, we will find you, we will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
So there you go. Now we'll see if they actually follow through. They actually, do something and do some good things. We'll see. Who knows? I don't know. I don't trust them. Don't fucking trust them. All right. Again, want Trump to win 100%. I just hope when they take back the Senate and whatnot and the legislation branch, they actually pass some voter ID law instead of a bunch of this nonsense bitching and moaning and putting shit off, and then they're like, oh, it's not our fault, Democrats taking back the House. So got a little drama we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about just a little bit of drama. So for those who don't know, Ryan Dawson and is who Ryan Dawson is. He's a conspiracy guy who seems to have a lot of good information. He's been on Fresh and Fit a couple of times to talk about 9/11 and various other things. Apparently, there's been some beef going on. There's been a bit of beef between Myron and Ryan Dawson. Myron has cut ties with Ryan Dawson, and now I guess he did this yesterday or during Fed Reacts, and I'm gonna try and see if I can find something else real quick. So let's see what Ryan has to say, or what Myron has to say about this.
I won't be working with Ryan Dawson anymore, guys. That's just the decision that I'm making. It is what it is. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. I don't have an issue with him personally, but I'm just no longer going to do business with him. It is what it is. he said some things about me publicly, negative things about me publicly. I'm not going to do the same to him. So I don't necessarily want to do business with an individual like that. So it is what it is. Like I said, I tried to have him on. He said he was sick, which, I'm not saying that he was lying about that, but just a couple things that just, just not really acceptable. So again, I wish him the best. I have nothing bad to say about him, but he made a bunch of comments about me publicly, negative comments about me publicly, and I just can't rock with someone that does that type of stuff. So I can't trust him. So if I can't trust him, then it is what it is. I won't be working with Ryan Dawson anymore, guys. That's just the decision that I'm making. It is what it is. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. I don't have an issue with him personally. But I'm just
All right. Hold on. Okay, hold on, because Myron goes into this in depth during an X space. Okay. All right, hold on. We're almost there. Okay. So let's check this out. So this is from an X space. It's from Jocasta. Oh, whoops. Wrong one. That's all the people not messaging me on X. What an idiot that I am. All right. So here is going to be the messages that Ryan and Myron went back and forth. Myron talks about the beef again, as my usual, 1.5 speed, and then
there's plenty of smart people in the world, but if you can't articulate what the fuck you want to say, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and on top of it, like, he's just probably really struggling financially, so he's probably just bitter all around. Like, I think that's the biggest thing.
I would be
the he they're talking about is Ryan Dawson. If you guys didn't know,
bitter as fuck. If I was 40 years old and couldn't take care of my wife and kids, I'd be bitter as fuck. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
they're clearly just talking a bunch of shit right now, which is fine.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I just want to make this very clear. If you're thinking this is gossip hour, it's not. This is something that happened where, these gentlemen absolutely put this guy on. Absolutely did everything a friend would for Ryan Dawson. SNEAKO brought him on all his Rumble streams, brought his whole audience to Ryan Dawson. I didn't know who he was. They were good friends. And then all of a sudden, you have public slander and public smearing of Myron and SNEAKO's name. That's to be spoken about. It's a topic that relates to them. It's their personal experience. So if you think, oh, why are you talking about another guy? No, it's not like that. This is a good lesson that we can learn as men, everybody here, or women. When you have friendships, you have to look for these signs. You can't be too forgiving. At a certain point, if someone shows you their character, don't keep associating with them. Don't keep giving them opportunities. You have to only accept loyalty. Loyalty is everything, bro. If he's showing you a little sign of disloyalty, cut it off. It's not worth it. There's too many people out there who's willing to be loyal to you for you to accept.
And like I said, the only reason I even gave him another chance is because you guys kept fucking asking for JFK, RFK. So I was like, you know what, man? So whatever, man.
Hold on, I think I jumped past it.
Like at this point, dude, like the guy, just some guy, just a lot of egos are the originator, blah blah blah, all this other shit, right? So I was like, all right, bro, I'm gonna tell you guys why right about it. So go ahead and read.
Okay. All right. So this is actually where it is. I skipped too far ahead. My bad, people. So let's read through this document that Myron posted. It's a video of his conversations with Ryan. I don't know what this is on. Maybe it's Telegram. I don't know. Anyways, no problem. I want to make the situation right. We will cover your flight and hotel to Miami for 2 days. We can cover RFK and JFK on separate days. Me, you, SNEAKO, and Fresh. I'll have all the documents, bids you want ready to play. Sounds good. I just finished flights to London, Ireland, Romania, Hong Kong, Macau, and Japan. Like I go back to Korea today, so I'm sitting stationary for a while. So purple is Myron, black is Dawson. When can you do it? June 6th is the anniversary of killing RFK Sr. I'll have to see what my obligations I have over here first. Okay. So Suleiman has asked the same thing, and now Michael Frazier, he'd be good because he has a grasp about organized crime of the time period. I don't get the advantage of going to Florida, like y'all ignored me last time after the show. Anyway, so what's the point of being there in person? So very whiny. You guys didn't give me enough attention yesterday. Okay, so Myron responds, okay, that's fine. You don't have to come. Then if you don't see the value, then that's cool. I wish you the best in future endeavors. Ryan responds, no, you misunderstand. I see the value. I don't see the added value of flying to Florida over just talking from my house. It's very far away. I live in Korea. Remember, I don't enjoy leaving my wife or my kids, and I don't perform well on opposite time zones. Okay, we can do it via stream. Let's do that instead. I'm cool with that. I only offered the trip as an olive branch for last time. Yeah, even free, it's a tough flight. Rather be here. No problem. Let's do a special episode on June 6th. Thumbs up, and I don't even know what that means, what that emoji is. Okay, we will do RFK first, then JFK after. Perfect. I'll announce it on my YouTube. And then he sends a tweet of the tweet, whatever. And then Ryan responds, my twin brother would be good to have on to talk about the Lost Colony. He's been on the History Channel Discovery. Lost Colony? The first colony to the U.S. It disappeared. He found it. Sam Parker is scooping whole text from Michael Collins Piper, who's now dead, and not giving attribution. Not sure what this has to do. Piper was a friend of mine. Looks like I'm going to Florida in June. Doesn't change our stuff. But man, wish I had known sooner. Hand says hand, probably means had known sooner. I'll be there 17th to 20th. I got intel on something that I will help a mutual friend of ours. That's okay. We can do JFK in person while you're here. It's in Orlando. I'm meaning a former CIA guy, and also an ex-BF of. He says or one of. I think it means of. One of take accusers, then dealing with some IRS bullshit. 7th might still be better. I have stuff 16th, 17th, 18th, and the 19th. I'm free, but go home early the 20th. That's fine. 7th works. Hey, you wanted Ritter again, right? They just took his passport away. Again, right? They just are not letting him go to Russia. So I'm gonna invite him to Florida to meet with Larry Johnson. That's 17th, 20th. We are gonna be near Orlando. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Let's do it. You still good to do the 7th? That is Friday. Yeah, what time is that? 7 p.m. my time. How much time do you need to do it? 2 hours? Don't know. I'm gonna do a practice run later. If you ever want to cover Sudan Civil War, I'm down. About 2 hours for RFK, dealing with kidney stones. Didn't get much done today. Okay, want to do 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. my time tomorrow, Friday, question mark, question mark. Is there any way to postpone this till after my trip? I've been hit with gout and kidney stones. I'm not prepared. I have been waiting to Kendi for years. I don't want to come in all fucked up. It's Korean holidays, so I have to suffer until Tuesday. Lack of sleep, putting my body on shutdown. I can't keep doing 20-hour days. This guy just whined. It's been a very whiny text. Myron says, okay, I understand. Shit just happens. If I can still go, I'll try to get Ritter to return to FNF. We didn't do any calls or anything either. And I do have clips I want to play because it has acoustic evidence on the shot fired. They have 2 issues. One, there's too many shots. Secondly, there's an instance of there being 2 shots too close together, like bap, 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 bap. I gotta get healthy. Okay, we can do it when you're in Florida. Can you give me a date? Or I'm assuming this is last year, because Scott Ritter is, I think he's Red Pill, or what's it, Mr. Red Pill or whatever, and he ended up dying in Russia prison. I think that's what this was last year. I'm in Florida, 17th to 8th to 20th, but meeting Larry Johnson and Scott Ritter and dealing with IRS and follow up with an ex-boyfriend of Tate accuser Emma Gabby. Okay, so you can't do it. I don't think there will be time to go to Miami from Orlando. Look, man, if you don't want to do it, it's totally cool. Just let me know. I've heard from several people you're still unhappy about the last time you were on talk about it in your community. I have no issues. So here, right here, we can see Myron's getting irritated. He's tried to schedule this whole RFK JFK thing and all that. He's tried to schedule it. He's trying to schedule it and everything. And Ryan just keeps pushing it off. So you can see that Myron's just getting annoyed at this point. I have no issues with you, but it seems you might still be holding a grudge. If that's the case, please let me know because it makes us look bad when we didn't do the RFK episode as promised to the people. I never had a problem with you and wish you the best and success. Hold on. Oh, sorry, my bad. Scott Ritter is an American intelligence officer. My bad. I thought it was someone. I thought that was Coach Red Pill. My bad. So yeah, this is this year. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not happy about that, but it's not like I wanted to get gout and Tate actually pays, so their stuff comes first. Yeah, but constantly complaining about it in your community is a bad look, though. I have my issues as well with how you handled the debate, but I never made it public or bashed you in my community like you did to me. I always speak publicly of you, regardless of my issues with you. Things like this needs to be resolved between us before you go to the internet and complain. It's very unprofessional. What was I going to say? I was going to say something here. I don't fucking remember. All this stemmed from money. It's not my responsibility to pay you when I'm giving you a huge platform to promote yourself. Cancel call. You can't complain about a debate that I didn't agree to. I'm not going to let people just use me. Cancel call. We will just end this business relationship. I wish you the best. So that's the message we got. All right. That's the message we got. Cool. Right. All right, everyone. We've read the message. That's what Myron has sent over. And all that. Now, the clip we just saw before, it shows Myron when he cut ties, which was before this live stream or this X Space. Before that, when he cut ties with Ryan Dawson, he said nothing but respect for him. He's like, respectfully, I'm just not going to do any business with them. That's it. I wish him the best. Blah blah blah. That's what he said publicly before this, because apparently Dawson has been talking a lot of shit lately.
Just put it in the fucking thing for you guys. Read through it real fast, and then when everyone's read it, just say, "Yo, we're good," and then I'm gonna go in and give you
Miami. He's like,
man, but whatever, dude.
Here's the thing, like,
But see how in our conversation he didn't say anything about I'm not coming on. See how he's lying? He has that tough guy persona of like, I told him I'm not gonna come on. You guys see the conversation right there for yourselves.
Yeah. He said he ghosted you. Here's the thing, like, everything should be communication. Like, if you have an issue with somebody, communicate it instead of.
And yeah, and that's why I called him, because I didn't want to have this. I didn't want to have to be doing the shit that I'm doing right now. I did call him multiple times. That is true. And I called him at my time when it was late, not his time when it was late. And then the other thing too is that I called him because I try to settle shit behind the scenes.
So one of Dawson's complaint is that Myron calls him at like 3 p.m. his time because he lives in Asia, Korea. So that's been his complaint. He's like, "Oh, Myron calls me at 3 a.m. My time, and it's Asia. Blah 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 blah." So that's definitely going on.
Not be on some fucking bullshit like he is, where it's like, let me just go ahead and complain in a Telegram chat to all my people and lie about certain shit. So that's fine, bro. That's fine. Y'all ready?
Yeah, I think everybody's good.
Yeah, we ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So as you guys know, this dude just.
So now we're gonna hit. So Myron's now gonna be, is done. He's like, let's blast this.
The background on this guy. Ryan Dawson's a very smart guy, but his problem is that he's extremely jealous and bitter of people that have kind of made it doing the same kind of content that he does. There's a reason why he's extremely resentful towards Nick, towards SNEAKO. Anyone that criticizes Zionism, he feels like they owe him for like, as like, I'm the god, like, oh, try being, anytime you say, oh man, they canceled me, they demonetized me, he'll immediately say, well, we'll try being canceled for 20 years, try having your PayPal, whatever. Like, it's always like a one-up, like, I've been canceled more than you or some other bullshit like that. And the thing is this, right? And this is why so many people in the community dislike him, is because it's always, I've been canceled more than you, I've been doing this longer than you, I'm the originator, blah, 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 all this other shit, right? So I was like, all right, bro, I'll bring you on the podcast. Let's fucking have this discussion, right? Let's bring you on for 9/11, right? So we bring him on for the 9/11 talk. I'm like, you know what, dude, we can make this shit better. Are you down to debate Destiny? And because my thing is, I'm looking at it like, okay, number one is going to get more views because we already did a whole 9/11 talk already. So I'm like, yo, debate Destiny. Like 9/11 is your shit. Nobody can beat you in this. Like just debate Destiny is going to have a bunch of views. We had like 40,000 people, 30,000 people.
So it appears to be a last minute thing. Like, hey, why don't we just do, instead of just doing a simple talk, let's do this. All right, let's do a debate. You're the king, you're the master, you're God, you're the God King of 9/11. Debate Destiny on it. So it appears that Ryan was correct. He was sprung on him last second. Okay, was sprung on him last second, or at least close to last second.
Watching live, like.
But again, he did agree to it.
It's a whole bunch of eyeballs. So what does Ryan do? He shows up tired as fuck, no sleep. He came from Orlando because he had to like get someone to like get him a ride because he couldn't rent a car to come down here and properly get a hotel or whatever. So he comes completely tired, completely unprepared, completely like fatigued, right? And then he's like talking about, oh, well, I took this flight and all this other stuff. And he has all these excuses for why he's tired. So he comes in and he gives
like, I don't understand this. Like, could you not sleep on the flight? I don't really get that.
It's a terrible fucking performance. And I'm like, what the?
And look, I understand that, time zones, it's different, jet lag, all that stuff. I get that. But like, it's like you didn't sleep on the flight?
Fuck, right? Because I'm like, bro, like, I hyped this shit up. I was advertising.
I remember watching this, and it was really lackluster, and I found Ryan Dawson kind of grating. His voice was very grating.
I got fucking Destiny here. We got a bunch of people. Like, this is a huge opportunity for you. And what does he do? He fucking underperforms and then tries to put the blame on me like, oh, well, I wasn't prepared and I didn't sleep and all this other shit. And it's like, bro, that's not my responsibility. Like, this is your wheelhouse. You've been the one to say that you've studied 9/11 for 20, 30 years. Like, you should be easily able to debate Destiny. Why is it that Nick Fuentes, who you always ridicule and say is stupid, comes in and absolutely destroys Destiny in the debate, and then you come on and you can barely fucking articulate yourself with something that you were supposed to be a subject matter expert in? That's number one. Number two, so he hangs out while we're doing after hours, right? He gets fucking pissed drunk. And he starts flirting with the girls on my team in the background. I really don't want to have to fucking say this shit, but he starts acting like a fucking weirdo, right? Because he's drunk as fuck, acting like a moron, right? A lot of the girls are feeling uncomfortable. So again, I said, yo, Ryan, we'll cover your hotel, blah, blah. But after he did that stupid ass performance and he started fucking making the girls that work for me feel uncomfortable, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not giving you nothing. Like, you came in, you fucked up the show. I gave you a crazy opportunity. You fucking dropped the ball, and you made the girls that work for me feel uncomfortable. Like, they were like, what the fuck? While we're doing after hours, like, they felt super weird. And I was like, then I feel some sense of responsibility because I fucking brought this guy. So I'm like, what the fuck? So again, I didn't want to say this shit because it would make him look bad. But since he wants to fucking go sit here and say I'm a liar or whatever, look, I said, yes, I would cover your shit. But after that shitty performance and you making my fucking employees feel weird, no, man, I'm not giving you shit. Like, bro, that's not on me. I'm like, be a fucking grown man. Like, dude, you over here like fucking complaining like, oh, you didn't cover my hotel and I didn't sleep and all this other shit. It's like, bro, be a fucking grown man. And this is why you don't do business with fucking brokies, man. Because they will always cry and nickel and dime over anything, when in reality, I don't fucking owe you anything. And then on top of that, you doing that dumb shit with my employees pissed me off. Your shitty performance, I brought you in front of a huge creator that you could have totally done a great debate on, and you do some dumb shit. You're half tired. You fucking got drunk as shit, embarrassed yourself in front of my team. It was ridiculous, dude. So no, I'm not gonna fucking pay your shit. Just go back to Orlando. And he ended up going back to Orlando with one of his fans that drove him down because he couldn't afford a hotel. And then he tries to put the blame on me. And it's like, no, dude, you're a grown ass man. You're a grown ass fucking man, dude. That's not my problem. You want to come in here and underperform and do all this dumb shit and then make my
also, you couldn't sleep while you were being driven down?
employees feel weird? Like, no, man. So that's what.
So Myron's problem is, if you missed it, is you underperformed, which you did. You really did underperform in the debate with Destiny. And then apparently afterwards, while they were doing after hours, he got drunk and started hitting on his employees and made the women feel uncomfortable, which Myron was not a fan of.
What it is, and then
don't forget, Myron's a misogynist, though.
He's been butthurt and complaining about that shit for months, bro. Bad mouthing me in his Telegram groups, talking shit. People sending me DMs saying, yo, dude, Ryan's saying this about you, saying that about you. And I still fucking sent them a message saying, yo, I want to make it right. We can cover your shit. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. Because I look at it like the people want the content. You guys keep asking me for Ryan Dawson. You guys ask me for RFK, JFK. Every fucking day people ask for it. So I say, you know what? I'll put my fucking pride aside. I'll give the people what they want. Even though this fucking guy is a fucking dickhead and he's rude as fucking, he's unappreciative, that we put him on a fucking platform, 1 million+ subscribers. He hasn't been relevant in years. And we fucking put him back on and put him in front of another huge creator like a Destiny. Say what you want to say about Destiny, but Destiny is absolutely relevant, huge, great opportunity for him. He fucked it up. And I put him in front of him to give him a huge opportunity. He fucked it up. And then he has the fucking nerve, the gall to sit there and be an unappreciative dickhead and say, fuck F it up. And then it makes sense why he's in the position that he's in. Because he's an unappreciative crybaby whiner. That's why. That's the fucking reason why he's been fucked up for all these years. He doesn't understand that no one owes him anything, dude. At the end of the day, we're the ones doing you a favor, not the other way around. Because trust me, I could find another JFK researcher. I wanted to put him on because I knew him and you guys specifically asked for him. But since he wants to be a fucking dickhead, I'm talking to other people right now that literally are JFK researchers that know this shit, that are aware of what the fuck is going on. So that's the real story about what happened, guys. That's the backstory. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But that's what it is. He's being unappreciative, being extremely rude. No one owes him shit, but he feels extremely entitled. It's like a fucking female, man.
And again, it all comes back to him being.
Okay. So there you go. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Oh, man. All right, so you can tell Ryan or Myron's been holding a lot of this in. He's irritated, and so he's just gone full blast on Ryan Dawson, and he's basically blacklisted him. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We talked a lot. I lost so many people watching when I did that 1775 coffee thing, but that's fine with me. I don't care that much. I just really actually do highly recommend 1775 coffee. So check it out. So yeah, make sure you give me a follow, a like, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And make sure that you check me out. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day. Again, tomorrow we are going to be covering some Mercado stuff and basically legal mindsets and potentially criminals. They did a video on Mercado, so we're going to check that out. All right, I hope you all have a good day. Peace out, and see you later.